There are moments in life when the atmosphere around you shifts, when you realize that what's happening to you is not mere coincidence. There's a stirring, a disruption in the ordinary, and if you're discerning, you begin to feel the weight of something divine pressing upon your life. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped. You're not just passing through time, something eternal is passing through you. You are being marked, not by religion, not by tradition, but by the sovereign hand of God Himself. You may not look like much to the world, you may not carry titles, wealth, or worldly favor, but in the unseen realm, your name is known. You've been intercepted, interrupted, disturbed by grace. You've begun to walk roads that others avoid. You wrestle with convictions that keep you awake at night. You see what others ignore. You feel what others dismiss. And whether you realize it or not, heaven has branded you for purpose. This message is not for the crowd. It's for the remnant. It's for those who cannot blend in, who carry burdens they never asked for, who feel the pull of something greater. You are not forgotten. You are not random. You are marked by God. And these are the signs. 1. You are uncomfortable in normal spaces. There comes a moment in your spiritual journey when the places you once fit into suddenly feel too small. It's not that the room has changed, it's that you have. When you are marked by God, normal no longer satisfies. Familiar conversations feel empty. Old habits begin to grieve your spirit. Even the things that once brought you joy begin to lose their luster. This isn't about arrogance or superiority. It's about transformation. You are being recalibrated. Your spirit is shifting. The divine hand on your life begins to disrupt your comfort zones, not to punish you, but to call you higher. You find yourself sitting among people, laughing, joking, talking, but your soul is somewhere else. You're present, but you're not connected. The music plays, the conversations flow, but there's a dissonance inside you that won't be ignored. The same show, the same gossip, the same surface-level chatter, it all feels like noise. And while others enjoy the moment, you feel the Spirit stirring within you, whispering, you're not like them anymore. It's not rejection, it's revelation. You are being pulled out, set apart, awakened to a deeper hunger. It's a lonely feeling at first. You wonder if something's wrong with you. You begin to miss the ease of blending in, the simplicity of belonging. But God doesn't mark you to leave you comfortable. He marks you to make you useful. He knows that if you stay in the old places with the old mindsets, you'll never step into the new thing He's preparing. So He lets discomfort grow. He lets discontent press in. It's His way of moving you, without forcing you. This shift is also deeply spiritual. You begin to notice what others don't. The jokes that used to make you laugh now make you cringe. The entertainment that once filled your evenings now burdens your spirit. Even your internal reactions change. You feel conviction where you once felt nothing. That's not weakness, that's spiritual maturity. God is increasing your sensitivity. He's awakening your spirit so that you can walk in greater discernment. And once that awakening begins, you can't turn it off. The truth is, normal spaces are no longer for you because you've been marked for abnormal assignments. You weren't called to blend in. You were called to stand out. You weren't called to echo culture. You were called to confront it. And that kind of calling requires consecration. God doesn't pour new wine into old wineskins. He stretches you. He redefines you. And part of that process means disconnecting you from environments that can't carry your future. So if you feel out of place, misunderstood, even misaligned with what used to feel like home, don't panic. You're not broken, you're not crazy, you're not alone, you are simply being prepared. God is changing your appetite to match your assignment. He is making you uncomfortable with what's average, so He can lead you into what's anointed. Let the tension do its work. The shift is not your end, it's your beginning. 2, your life is marked by unusual warfare. When you are marked by God, your life is no longer on neutral ground. Whether you realize it or not, your presence becomes a problem in the spiritual realm. You're not just another person passing through life. You are a vessel being prepared for divine assignment. And because of that, the opposition you face often feels disproportionate. It seems unfair. Others make the same choices, yet they walk away unscathed. But you, when you slip, stumble, or simply try to move forward, it's as though all of hell breaks loose. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. You're a threat. Unusual warfare doesn't always look like chaos on the outside. Sometimes it's subtle, prolonged delays, strange miscommunications, attacks on your mind, heaviness that appears without warning, relationships strained for no clear reason, and resistance that seems spiritual even when it's coming through natural means. The enemy knows he can't stop God's plan for your life, so he tries to drain your strength, distract your focus, and distort your perception. He wants to wear you down before you ever step fully into who you're called to be. You might ask, why me? But the better question is, what is it about me that hell is trying so hard to stop? The battle around you is often an indicator of the greatness within you. Satan doesn't waste his resources. He assigns his fire where there is purpose. And if your life is marked by ongoing warfare, chances are your destiny carries extraordinary weight. You are not being attacked because you're weak. You're being attacked because you're dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. And yet, God allows this warfare, not to destroy you, but to train you. You are not in a battle as a victim. You are in it as a soldier being forged. Through every sleepless night, every mental battle, every spiritual attack, God is building endurance in you. He's teaching your hands to war. He's stripping away dependence on comfort and teaching you how to stand in authority. He doesn't want you merely to survive. He wants you to overcome. And overcoming can't be taught in theory. It must be lived through conflict. Many who are marked by God carry scars, emotional, spiritual, sometimes even physical. But those scars are not signs of defeat. They are evidence of survival. You've walked through fire, and you're still standing. You've faced darkness and haven't lost your light. Every battle has added layers of wisdom, strength, and discernment to your spirit. That's not the mark of someone weak. That's the mark of someone chosen. So don't misinterpret the warfare as rejection. See it as validation. Heaven has authorized your assignment, and hell is terrified of it. You are not fighting for your future. You are fighting from it. The battle is not about your past. It's about your potential. Stand your ground. You've been marked, and no weapon formed against you will prosper, not because of who you are, but because of who stands with you. 3. You carry a divine burden that won't leave. There is a weight that comes with being marked by God, a holy burden that clings to your spirit and refuses to be shaken. It's not the kind of burden that wears you out with worry or drains you with fear. It's deeper. It's divine. It is the awareness that your life is not your own. It's the pull you feel in the quiet moments, the fire that burns even when everything around you is still. Others can forget the call, ignore the need, move on from conviction, but you cannot, because something in you has been awakened, and it won't let you rest. This burden doesn't always come with clarity. In fact, it often shows up before the assignment ever does. You may not have the full picture, but you feel the pull. You can't explain it to everyone. When you try to articulate it, words fail. You just know that something inside you is being stirred, something that calls you to pray when others are sleeping, to weep over things others find trivial, to speak when silence would be easier. You sense that God is trying to get your attention, and deep down, you know you've been chosen for something significant. It's not glamorous. It's not always joyful. Sometimes it feels like a heavy coat you can't take off. You walk into rooms and feel the atmosphere shift, not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. You feel the pain of others even when they say nothing. You intercede for people you barely know. You see brokenness where others see entertainment. You can't laugh at what grieves God. You can't celebrate what defiles His name. That's the burden. It reshapes your sensitivity. It transforms your lens. It costs you your ease. This divine burden is evidence that you've been entrusted with something sacred. God does not place weight on those He doesn't plan to use. The burden is preparation. It softens your heart for the mission. It gives you eyes to see what others miss. It presses you into prayer, into study, into stillness. It makes you desperate for His presence because you know that without Him, you cannot carry what He's placed inside you. It humbles you, even as it elevates your awareness. It is not a punishment, it is a privilege. Many try to run from this burden. They try to numb it with distractions, drown it in busyness, silence it with compromise. But those who are truly marked can't escape it. The burden will find you in the quiet. It will whisper in the middle of your plans. It will tug at your heart until you surrender. And when you do, when you stop resisting and start yielding, something miraculous happens. The burden becomes a guide. It becomes fuel. It turns into the very thing that drives your purpose forward. So if you feel a weight that won't lift, a pull that won't stop, a fire that won't die, rejoice. You're not being tormented. You're being entrusted. God has marked you. And with that mark comes a burden that will not break you, but shape you into everything He designed you to be. 4. You experience strategic isolation. One of the most misunderstood signs of being marked by God is isolation. It's not always dramatic. It doesn't always come with betrayal or conflict. Sometimes it happens slowly. People begin to drift, connections fade, invitations stop coming. You find yourself sitting in silence more than in company. And while part of you wonders what went wrong, a deeper part of you knows something sacred is happening. You are not being abandoned. You are being separated. Strategic isolation is God's way of pulling you away from what's familiar so He can shape you for what's next. When God marks a person, He begins the work of consecration, and consecration always starts with separation. He begins to remove you from conversations, environments, and even relationships that may not be toxic, but are no longer in alignment with your calling. Not everyone can handle where you're going. Not everyone can carry the weight you're being prepared for. God sees what you can't. He knows the motives you don't. And in His mercy, He isolates before He elevates. Isolation feels painful because we were created for connection, but when the call on your life is unusual, your preparation must be uncommon. Strategic isolation is not punishment, it's positioning. In the hidden place, God sharpens your discernment. He silences the noise so you can finally hear His voice clearly. He strips away the comfort of constant affirmation so you learn to stand on truth, not applause. He teaches you how to walk with Him when no one is watching, how to trust Him when no one is clapping, how to obey Him when no one is supporting. These are lessons that are only learned in solitude. The Bible is filled with examples of this divine pattern. Joseph was isolated in a pit and a prison before he was promoted to the palace. Moses was exiled to the desert before he could lead a nation. David was left alone with sheep, and later alone in caves, before he ever wore a crown. Even Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness before He began His ministry. Isolation is not the absence of God's plan. It's often the very center of it. In this season of isolation, God is not just hiding you, He is preserving you. He is guarding what He's planting in you from the influence of voices that might distort it. He is protecting your assignment from being diluted by premature exposure. What He's doing in you is too sacred to be shared too soon. So He shelters you, not because you are forgotten, but because you are favored. If you find yourself in a season where it feels like no one understands you, like you don't belong anywhere anymore, like the people you once leaned on are suddenly gone, don't despair. This is not the end. This is the forge. This is the place where destiny is refined. You are being hidden, not to be ignored, but to be made ready. Trust the process. God has not left you. He has drawn you closer, and when the time is right, He will reveal you to the world in the power of the preparation He's done in private. 5. You see through deception instinctively. When you are marked by God, one of the signs that begins to emerge in your life is an instinctive ability to see through deception. It's not something you study for or something you necessarily ask for. It comes as a byproduct of being aligned with truth. God, who is truth Himself, begins to sharpen your spiritual senses. While others are distracted by charisma, performance, and surface-level charm, you sense something deeper. You feel the undercurrent. You catch what's not being said. And though you may not always be able to explain it logically, your spirit knows when something is off. This ability is not rooted in suspicion. It's rooted in discernment. Discernment is heaven's early warning system. It's the Spirit of God alerting you to what the natural eye cannot see. You can walk into a room and immediately feel heaviness. You can hear someone speak and feel the falseness in their tone, even if their words are right. You sense manipulation hiding behind smiles and darkness cloaked in light. You don't seek these things out, they simply register. That's not your imagination, that's a gift, a sign that you've been marked to navigate deeper realities. This sensitivity comes with a cost. You begin to realize that not everyone who talks about God is sent by God. Not every opportunity is from heaven. Not every open door is a divine invitation. While others rush in with excitement, you pause with caution, you test the Spirit, you wait for peace, you listen for God. This doesn't make you paranoid, it makes you protected, because when you are marked, your discernment becomes a weapon. It guards your mind, your relationships, your decisions, and your calling. Many people overlook the danger of deception, but God does not. From Genesis to Revelation, deception has always been one of the enemy's primary tactics. Satan didn't destroy Eve with violence. He deceived her with words. And still today, lies often come dressed in spiritual language. False prophets use scripture. Manipulators use emotion. Wolves wear the garments of shepherds. But when you are marked by God, He won't allow you to be misled easily. He will train your spirit to recognize truth even when it's quiet and to reject deception even when it's loud. This gift will make you stand out. You may find yourself uncomfortable in settings where others are perfectly content. You'll ask hard questions. You'll challenge what others blindly accept. And at times, you may be misunderstood for it. People might label you difficult, overly critical, or too deep. But don't let that discourage you. You're not being difficult, you're being discerning. And in a time when deception is increasing, your sensitivity is not a burden, it's a blessing. So if you often feel what others overlook, if your spirit tightens at what others applaud, if you just know when something isn't right, even when you can't explain why, take heart. That's not coincidence. That's calling. You've been marked by God, and He is sharpening your vision for a purpose far greater than you can yet see. 6. You attract unusual favor and resistance. When you are marked by God, your life becomes a paradox. On one hand, you experience divine favor that opens doors you didn't knock on, but on the other hand, you encounter resistance that makes no sense in the natural. It's as if heaven and hell both recognize who you are at the same time. God places His hand on you, and things begin to happen that defy logic. Opportunities arise unexpectedly, people are drawn to you without knowing why, and influence seems to follow you even when you try to remain hidden. But simultaneously, opposition intensifies. You face criticism without cause. You are misunderstood by those closest to you. Attacks seem to come out of nowhere. This is not coincidence. It's the dual evidence that you are marked. Unusual favor is the kind that can't be manufactured or manipulated. It's not the result of your resume, your charm, or your efforts. It's the outcome of God's fingerprint on your life. People will recognize something about you even when they can't name it. Doors will open that are too precise to be accidents. Provision will come through channels you never expected. This favor is divine. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you in heaven. It's God making a statement to the world. This one belongs to me. But the same favor that draws promotion also attracts opposition. Favor exposes you. It puts a spotlight on you that you never asked for. It disrupts the comfort of those who are complacent. It provokes jealousy in those who feel entitled. It challenges those who have built their influence on control. So don't be surprised when resistance rises just as fast as opportunity. This is spiritual. When favor finds you, warfare follows. There will be moments when the favor feels like a blessing and a burden at the same time. People celebrate your success but secretly question your worthiness. Some will love the gift you carry but reject the person who carries it. Others will tolerate your presence until your anointing begins to shine too brightly. And you may be tempted to shrink back, to dull your light, to make yourself more acceptable. But remember, you were not favored to fit in, you were favored to fulfill. God didn't mark you for popularity, He marked you for purpose. The resistance is not always from the outside. Sometimes it will rise from within. You may battle with self-doubt, imposter syndrome, or fear of failure. But even in that, God is using the tension to fortify your identity in Him. He is teaching you that your favor is not rooted in your perfection, but in your obedience. He's reminding you that your battles are not setbacks. They are proof that you carry something worth fighting against. So when favor comes, walk through the doors with humility. When resistance comes, stand your ground with boldness. The two are not opposites. They are companions in your calling. You've been marked, and both heaven and hell have taken notice. But fear not. The one who called you is faithful, and He will not only give you the favor to rise, but the strength to endure. 7. You long for eternity more than earth. When you are marked by God, something begins to shift in the way you see the world. The things that once captivated you now feel temporary. The pleasures that once satisfied now seem shallow. Success, recognition, and material gain may still have their place, but they no longer have your heart. There's a quiet ache inside you, a deep longing for something beyond this life, a yearning for eternity. It's not about escaping your responsibilities or abandoning your purpose here on earth. It's about seeing everything in light of forever. You begin to walk with eternity stamped on your spirit. This longing doesn't make you less useful here. It makes you more focused. While others are consumed by what's trending, you're thinking about what's lasting. While many are chasing moments, you're pursuing meaning. Eternity becomes your compass. It becomes the lens through which you evaluate your choices, your relationships, your time, and your energy. You are no longer driven by what feels urgent, but by what carries eternal weight. There's an awareness in you that life is fragile, fleeting, and sacred, and that every breath you take is one step closer to your true home. This internal pull isn't rooted in sadness or fear. It's the evidence of divine alignment. Your spirit has tasted the presence of God, and now it craves more than this world can offer. No accomplishment can fill it. No relationship can complete it. No possession can satisfy it. You are not ungrateful. You are awakened. Earth has its beauty, but it's not your destination. It's your assignment, not your eternity. This longing makes you different. While the world hustles for more, you begin to simplify. While others panic over loss, you learn to hold loosely. While people fight to be remembered, you focus on being faithful. Eternity gives you clarity. It silences the noise. It strips away the illusion that this life is all there is. You understand that one day you will stand before God, not to be judged for your popularity, but for your obedience, not for how much you gained, but for how much you gave, not for how comfortable you were, but for how surrendered you became. The more marked you are, the more this longing grows. You find yourself weeping over souls, over injustice, over wasted time. You pray differently. You speak with urgency. You live with intention, and even when you laugh, dream, and build, you do it all with the knowledge that this world is not your home. That truth doesn't depress you, it empowers you, because you know that every sacrifice made here echoes in eternity. Every act of obedience, every moment of worship, every unseen prayer, it all matters in the realm that lasts forever. So if you feel a holy homesickness, a longing for something more, a pull toward the eternal, don't ignore it. That is the signature of God on your soul. It's a sign you've been marked. Earth may host you for now, but heaven is what your heart truly recognizes. And one day that longing will be fulfilled, not with things, but with the face of the one you've loved from afar.